Hey everyone, it's Rainey Alpers, host of Working Women Mentor. I am so excited to be back today on season 7. Oh my goodness, I can't believe. Wow, it's been so much fun. And thank you for being here. I just wanted to say a quick, super thank you. We've been on a small break, working, right? We're all working women out there. We've been living life and our team has been doing some incredible things. So I just wanted to take a minute and say thanks for being here this season. Thanks for celebrating mentorship and supporting our podcast. I'll see you inside of the episode. Here we go.
Welcome to Working Women Mentor, the podcast that delivers mentorship in every conversation. Each episode, we meet remarkable women who share the real moments, challenges, and breakthroughs that shape their journeys. These are stories that inspire, empower, and remind us of what is possible. I'm your host, Rainey Alpers, and I cannot wait for you to meet today's guest. Let's jump in and uncover your next mentor moment.
Hey everyone, welcome to Working Women Mentor. I'm your host, Rainey Alpers, and today's guest is the lovely Amanda Lamage. She is calm, cool, collected, and super beautiful skin because she is the owner of Skingevity Med Spa, 25 plus year industry leader. She is a woman who is all about mentorship. She has been featured in Spa Owner Magazine, Vanity Fair. I mean, you name it, she's been out there. She's influential. And today she's here telling us really how she's done this. And she's been through a lot and things that you can't even imagine at ages and time periods in her life that you have to decide how to move forward. And her story is encouraging. She has lots of great advice for us, including all the trending skin procedures we need to have as women. So let's jump in and meet Amanda and let's go. So Amanda Lamage, I'm Rainey Alpers, host of Working Women Mentor. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to join you today.
Yeah, we've got so much to talk about. Your glowing skin is shining on the camera. We have beautiful topics to run through. So before we get started, would you introduce yourself to our guest, Amanda?
Absolutely. So I am Amanda Lamage, and I've been in the medical wellness and med spa industry for the past 24 years. Love being in the field. And I also have another business that I've recently launched called All in Wellness. And we do some great programs for detoxing, just for brain fog, all the different gut issues, autoimmune, all the different things that we can run into as well. And I just love being able to help people feel better as well as look better every day.
Well, that is a beautiful mission. And it's so symbolic what you do every day. Both businesses sound like they align with what is your super passion. So I can't wait to hear about them. I wonder, though, in the meantime, what did your friends have to say about you, Amanda? As you know, we ask all of our guests to text somebody close and say, hey, can you describe me to this podcast?
Yeah, so I have a very close friend. This is how I've known her for many years, but this is how she would describe me. And I'll just tell you what she said, that I am a perfectionist. I'm highly skilled, an esthetician who works 80 hours a week and still finds time to help others. I'm an awesome mom and friend, and I'm very generous and loves to have a great time with friends. And she also said loads of fun and screams loud during movies, which I love.
That is all encompassing. A full review of you, it sounds like. I love that she hit every point about you and not just one, or not even just about your friendship. Like she sees you as a whole person in lots of different ways. That's pretty beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It is. She's a great person as well.
Oh, well, good. Well, okay. Aesthetics and the field that you're in, the beauty industry has changed so much over the years. And you've been at this for 25 plus years, right?
Correct.
So give us an idea. I mean, take us back into you getting into the medical aesthetics field because it's changed so much from then. I mean, what kept you motivated? What kept you in that direction of this industry?
Starting in the beauty industry, it wasn't my first career, but I loved getting the facial treatments as a client, but then seeing the results for patients. And then I noticed in my career needing a little bit more of the anti-aging piece for more result-driven treatments that correcting and reversing aging and sun damage and those things versus just the pampering piece. And so that's what really instilled me to evolve into more so the medical spa industry, which is, like you said, it's changed so vastly, even in the past 5 years, last 2 years, let alone a decade. It's such a different environment. If you've worked in traditional med spas or just a traditional spa and getting into that landscape of what we can do, there's so many options out there, right? To reverse so many issues on the skin. But it's nice because it's just advanced, so it's non-invasive. And we don't necessarily always have to have downtime with the treatments that we're doing. Sometimes we incorporate more of an advanced treatment that's maybe a once a year treatment that's going to require some downtime. But it's just so fun and innovative to continue to evolve and train and just keep growing within the industry itself.
So when you started in this industry, though, I'm curious. I mean, was it just like, oh, I love the feeling of being here. Like, I want to take care of myself in this way. So now I want to help others. Tell me about how it evolved for you.
That's very correct. I mean, really, for me, we all have been in that place, I think, depending on what decade we're in our lives. And for me, it was really in my 30s when I looked in the mirror and I noticed, okay, this isn't me. I don't really love how I'm feeling. And that's truly what, allowed me to really research more and explore and advance my career into the med spa space. And I think going through it ourselves really helps. And for me, I have to educate others knowing what I've experienced myself. And so that's what really inspired me to keep going.
And it sounds all from within, just all from within here, which is always makes it much easier for morning motivation when
Absolutely.
it's so internal and so passionate. So you started in this industry, and where you've come from, you've experienced a lot of financial loss, a lot of pain, a lot of hardship in your life. And walk us through that, because it's never easy to thrive while going through something like that. And it's even harder for some people to overcome it and to rise above it. Will you share with us how your journey's been?
Absolutely. And, I always see a positive. There's always got to be a positive or a lesson in whatever we're going through. And God does put us in some circumstances, and maybe he pulls us out of some circumstances to show us where we're really truly meant to be. And I think that's how I look at things, is maybe there's something better. And so all of the experiences that I've gone through, I actually do appreciate. I know not everybody might not have that outlook, but it's been really compelling to push me forward to succeed. And so I think the biggest monumental thing that I went through was just being new to the area that I'm in now, recently being divorced, having to start over from zero, really. I didn't really have a choice. And so there was no other way but going through that. And I was ready for something new. I always like to have a challenge. And so that's really what propelled me. But again, instead of looking at it as, this is poor me, why am I going through this? I look at it as, okay, God wants me to do something different or better. And I was able to focus on that.
What equipped you with that? I'm curious, because it's like, I feel like as we get older, we get, more open-minded. We can learn that skill. We can say, hey, I'm meant for more than this. Let me keep moving. Let me keep going. But a younger age, it's difficult. We're not quite sure we're meant for more yet. We're not quite sure there is the rosy picture sometimes. So did someone help you through that, or was that just through a lot of internal growth on your own, Amanda?
I actually was really drawn to the wellness piece of mindset and changing your mindset and changing your roadmap. And I really started incorporating yoga and wellness treatments in my own daily practice. And that's what really was able to help me. I really would say if I hadn't started implementing that, it would have been difficult to see the good or see the positives. Even when you're starting out, there's definitely hard times, hard days, right? Financially, when you're starting over from scratch. And so the yoga practice really, really helped me. And I started incorporating daily meditation. And I always did it in the morning. For me, it was setting the tone for the day. And I was able to surround myself also with other people that were in that same focus on well-being for themselves. And I found, having supportive people with the verbiage, the different things, like the yoga teachers will have different techniques and talk about, allowing our thoughts to come to us and allowing the universe to draw us to where we're meant to be. And that's what really started for me, just being open, more open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's grounding. As you're describing it, I can see that probably brought a sense of calm to a lot of uncertain days. Yeah.
Absolutely.
As we rebuild, as we are moving through whatever we're moving through, that grounding is so, so important. And, I know that you also lost your father at a very early age. And so how was that impact on you and your life and your mom and going forward?
I was blessed that my mom really had me do the proper amount of, 3 years of really therapy to be able to process everything and be able to, again, I really had great people around me, our church group. I had a pastor I worked with and just found for myself through EMDR was what really helped me with a therapist that I found later in life to remove the emotional plug, if you will, and process all of the events because it doesn't go away, but you're able to remove that emotional piece and be able to move forward. And I will say, I'm very similar to my father, but I've been blessed to find really that quiet inner strength that he had to propel me to open this clinic that I have today and really wanting to help others do better for themselves.
Yeah, all the way. That just gives me my eyes water just hearing that. It's like your dad being a part of this still to this day and giving you so much strength to help others and to be there in a holistic way is very, very special. As we talk about your dad being there, the strong community, being there and here with you and the strong community in your church, have you had some mentors in your life that have really been with you through those difficult times, through the growth times of your life? Does anyone come to mind that you want to share with us?
Absolutely. I have a cousin that in my life that really has been a big part of everything. And it's really nice when they notice the growth that I've had personally and development and to be able to step back because when you're going through it every day, you don't really realize or see what you're really truly going through and how that
You don't.
feels to others, right? So it's been great to have a great mentor, and some family members as well, some great relatives that have been very supportive and compassionate as well.
How did you know that your cousin saw your change and your growth? Like, what was it that you finally just said, like I'm sure they said something, right? And you're just
Yes.
like, oh, is it happening? Like, were you surprised? Like someone
Yes.
noticed, or were you surprised it was even happening? Because there's so much going on internally.
Yes, I remember clearly the statement that she made was, you are going straight to heaven when it's your time. You have been tested more than anyone I've seen, and you've gone through so many challenges, but you're so positive and so strong, and you do so much for yourself, and you're just evolving. That was huge for me to be able to step back and see that and realize that I am on the right path. And even if you have doubts or you have some hard days, that was a big one for me.
Yeah, it sounds like a big one because not everyone sees the muck we walk through. They see pieces of it, right? They either see maybe a bad moment or all the great ones, or maybe people have a perception of what your life is like. But when someone can really look at yours and look at everything that you have been through and make that observation, that's pretty beautiful because it's not a lot of people let someone in, by the way, to even see those moments, really is my point. Would you agree?
I agree. I think it's important to be vulnerable. We need to put ourselves out there, and you don't have to have all the walls up all the time and the armor, right? It's just so important to be yourself and feel like you can be yourself and just show your true self.
Ever thought about starting a podcast but got stuck on the tech, the time, or what to even say? You're not alone. I've been there. And that's why I created the 7-day AI-powered podcast launch course to help women like you go from idea to launch, fast, smart, and without all the overwhelm. Who has time for that? And to get you started, I'm giving you my 50 favorite ChatGPT prompts to help you plan your content, name your show, and find your voice. Head over to workingwomenmentor.com to grab the prompts and start building the platform you've been putting off for too long.
So you had a very strong mentorship group then in your community. What was that like from the church perspective? I'm curious. I mean, did you find that you had different people within the that you could go to, that you could count on when you needed something? Did you have components that you were able to even take into your future from the church?
I was actually blessed to have a women's group. So that was important for me to do weekly Bible study and have women that have gone through similar experiences or maybe were going through it. Also, to be part of a group that we would do a weekend retreat with just women and having the female pastor. And it was really a good experience. The first day I'll never forget. I was going through that rough time after being divorced, and everyone had to write something about every person in the room of what they observed them to be. And I was blown away at the positive messages. And I still have those in my Bible. I keep them. And it was just inspiring to be able to see, the caring nature that they saw in me and spiritual person that I am, and just always having a smile on my face. It was just inspiring to see that part of it. And really, I think it's important when you're going through something substantial to find that support group, and it may be in a different environment than you're used to being in. It doesn't have to be, what you're used to doing or where you normally would go, and maybe trying something different that you find that you really feel drawn to and comfortable spiritually connected.
That's really great advice. It's nice also knowing that you had that shine still in you at that time, right? And that they could see it. I can imagine that makes you smile when you think about that. So how are you approaching mentorship differently now that you are a leader in your own space? You are someone people now look up to and gravitate to for this strength.
There's a way I approach things. I've been told by staff employees that they feel like I'm not their boss, I'm their friend. And I step back and I just say, I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like to work for a corporation or for a business that really sees the numbers or doesn't necessarily see you as a person or whole. And so I know what that feels like. So I really try to relate to their level, while we're going through the one-on-one. I like to do one-on-one coaching more so, because we will do the meetings, the team training, but I really like to take each person under my wing and work one-on-one with them individually. So I feel like connection is so important. And that's so easy to do when you're able to have that time together, just one-on-one versus a team.
It is. One-on-one time is my favorite thing in the world. It's like you can connect. You're not worried about. Yes, I love it, and I think people appreciate that space in front of you as well. It feels more private, and especially if they are a team member, especially if it's something that they may not want to share with everyone else just yet. So that growth between the two of you is a sacred, safe space. And I think that is a tremendous help to everyone. And so in your field, I know that you are growing a team, you've got an incredible business, but in this specific industry, how are you finding women and people in the industry help mentor each other? Is it pretty open in the field? Can you reach out to other med spas or physicians or owners, founders, and ask for help? I mean, what's
Absolutely.
it like right now in the landscape?
It's wonderful, and I've always had that open door. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but when you have that mindset, you tend to draw the right people to you, and we work together. And what's great is I have some very seasoned veteran colleagues in our industry, really the first to get into the medical space from cosmetic injecting into our state. And having those key players is so important to be able to fall back on. And we work together. We don't look at competing with each other, because it's really, we're doing this together, and there's enough to go around. There's enough patients to go around.
100%.
It's busy. We can't do it ourselves. And it's really important to see feedback, what's going on in other med spas currently. And it's really a blessing to have that connection in place, and really important, I think, to be able to see as a whole, how's it going in our industry as well.
When people look at it that way, it's not about you anymore. It's not even about your team. It's about upholding your profession, your space. I think there's just some dignity in that approach, and it spreads. And that comes back to you in many, many fold
Yes.
along the way. It does. Well, and so with your current clientele, you have had to replace yourself in many ways. I'm sure everyone wanted Amanda forever. I know you said you work 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
You're always busy, but how do you foster that growth on your team to operate in the way that you want people to be treated? Give us an
hmm
idea of what that looks like in your
I,
space.
so I love to have someone, watch with my client or my patient and have the technician with the patient's approval. And so they can actually just sit, in the room with me, see how I'm communicating, see the verbiage, see how I approach things from a whole, but then each treatment too. So I loved incorporating that. It's been great. And I've gotten great feedback from staff as well. They really appreciate the knowledge and taking that time and helping them to feel comfortable on every treatment that we're doing so that they see. And I think a lot of times they want to do it exactly like you're doing, but it doesn't have to be identical, even though we want to have the same as a whole. Everything is the same treatment
Execution. Yeah.
execution, but you have your personality. So there is that
Right.
too. And so I just appreciate that they want to try so hard to replicate that. And it's really helpful for the patients because then they feel taken care of when I'm not going to be able to do that treatment. They're able to see, okay, Amanda trusts them. I feel comfortable. And I usually have, I'll be there for the transition instead of just leaving them out for cold. In the cold, I don't want to do that to someone that they're, feeling a little uneasy. And so it's hard for them. But they've been very supportive. The clients have as well.
Yeah, and that's good. And that comes from you. And what everyone says about you is you are a wonderful listener. By your listening skills and just paying attention, you are able to make people feel incredibly special. And I'm curious, what can you teach us about that? Because not everyone listens very well. And it's so, so important. So please, give us your magic sauce.
I will say being present is so important. There's a lot of things, distractions around us. And I really find when I'm with someone, I'm going to focus on them. I'm not going to allow the distractions to come into play. But I really will say, myself being in my 20s, experiencing that true where someone wasn't listening to what my concerns or wants. Maybe it's a haircut, maybe it's anything similar to that. But when you've gone through that, knowing how that felt, feeling disconnected from them and I didn't feel that they were really even hearing anything I was saying. So that really propelled me. I have a vision for that. So in any of those circumstances, I think it's important to just be very present and, put your phone aside, put whatever it is, your email, just really hone in so that whoever it is you're working with feels that they're connected to you. The connection is key. And then really truly listening to understand versus listening to reply. I think that's really my best advice because there is a difference. When you're already listening to reply, you're not really hearing what they're saying. You're just listening to reply with what you think should be said or done. And I think there's a big difference. And so really, truly listening would change that mindset and really propel yourself to be open, definitely be more open, and you'll see a change. It's quite a change when you see that.
And I'm sure a change in you too, the listener, right? Because the more present you are, the more you are listening. Sometimes my responses are so slow. In fact, I think sometimes people are like, hello, did you hear what I said? And I did. I'm so busy thinking about it. It means I am truly intrigued when someone feels passionate enough to share something. And I'm my wheels are turning. I'm thinking all about it. And I want to give an answer if that's so, needed. Or I want to give a good question because what they said means a lot. And I think we get so much more out of time in life if we just listen just a little bit more. There's so much to learn out there. And I'm curious with you and being a great listener, a great mentor, a lot of what you said earlier on was about that change in mindset for you. What are some actionable pieces of advice we could all use if someone listening to us today is, maybe struggling with a change or maybe starting a new industry or financial problems or whatever it is? I mean, what is it that you can help us with?
My best advice there, and I've been through it myself, is surrounding yourself with those people that you aquire to be If it's someone, it doesn't have to be your industry, but maybe it's just successful people who are happy and they're, focusing on themselves. Surround yourself with 5 of those people and you'll end up becoming one of them. You really will notice a change in the negativity maybe that's coming in your mind, or just, I think it's so hard because we can put ourselves in a little box and think there's no way to have a change, or how can I get through this? How can I change my path? And it's really easy when you start changing really your environment, I think is important. When it's not working, then it's time for a change, and just maybe finding, searching for that community, whether it's at, a fitness center, people that are positive, happy, and they're going in the right direction. They don't have to be at the same age as, what you're going through either. They could be
Absolutely not.
retired.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to take advice and be willing to learn from people that know more than you. And that's, for me, what's worked really well. Doesn't mean that, what I've been through is the way it is. I mean, I think it's important to, when you're open and ready to hear from others, what has worked for them. And then you can take tidbits from that and make a game plan for yourself. And then it'll come to you naturally, the shift that's needed. And the universe will help guide you as well if you're open to it.
Hmm. And in that shift, I think that I think about personal fulfillment, and our definitions of this change over time. And I'm curious, what is your definition of feeling fulfilled in your day, and not that rabbit run, the hamster wheel of more, 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 more? What does that look like for you right now, Amanda?
For me, it's really my passion for what I do. And what I do is help others feel better every day, whether that be with clients, staff, people I'm coaching. It's really gratifying when you feel accomplished. And it doesn't matter what you are doing, but just feeling accomplished, I think, is great. And, whether that be maybe you're doing a new prayer chain, maybe you're focusing on a group of positive leadership, whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be career oriented, but I think it's important to know whatever those small wins are, and noticing that it's a positive, in what you're accomplishing, and feeling happy, truly happy about that.
Yeah, it's like you said, those wins. I like that. It's the small validations. This is small happiness. If they start adding up, and you get some momentum, and it feels good. So I have to ask you, you started this new business and you already have so much going on. But again, in the wellness industry, your podcast, your coaching, your training, can you share with us about your new business?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's called All in Wellness. And going through this journey myself, I really have, unfortunately, the blueprint that I'm, born with. My body doesn't detox well. My body doesn't absorb nutrients well. And so I found, even with hormones being off balance. And so really within our practice, we do some of the functional medicine, and I'm a practitioner that can help people with testing. So initially it starts with just lab testing that isn't done at traditional Western medicine at your doctor. This is a larger lab that's specific to your symptoms, and then we can test from there. And then we can find things that we can incorporate. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, but it's been really fun to be able to coach and help people, and can start with just a jumpstart kit. Maybe it's just some simple things that they need, their body needs to, like upregulating mitochondria, and maybe it's doing a parasite cleanse. Maybe it's doing some, just form of detox. Everybody's form of detox, there's different kinds depending on what the body needs, but it's really not a complex scenario when we're able to look at, lab results and look at what their body may need and what we can incorporate to slowly make a change, because it can't be done all at once, and it's got to be when the body's ready for that. And so I really am inspired to help others through what they're going through. And, maybe they have migraines, maybe they have brain fog, low energy, fatigue, depression, all the things, gut issues. There's so many things that your cortisol levels can be affected. And so there's just different things that we're working with a couple different companies that are very well known in the industry. And it's all backed by science, and it's great leadership, and companies that the efficacy is there, love to be able to grow with them and work with patients as well as helping with their journey.
And did you I know you talk to so many women and just so many patients in general, every day, like your clients. And if it's like me, like I go any procedure, any wellness on my face, I'm just like blah 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 blah. I'm talking the whole time. Anything that's going on, I tend to share. Right, like a little dry spot, or you just keep going. And we're women, we chat. And so, did you? Start thinking of this through hearing all of your clients, like what
Mm-hmm.
they were going through, their bodies, their changes, you yourself, what you needed. Where did this start from?
That's typically how I, research, but it's really my own journey and really struggling myself with the fatigue and cortisol. I didn't realize my cortisol levels were at an unsafe level and how much that alone affected just my well-being and ability to function every day and having, the detox issues with my gut and learning about that and truly seeing the results of my labs. That was propelling for me. But then, yes, I would hear so many of the patients, it's so hard what they're going through, but then it's like, aha, this is easy. I can help you. This is what I've gone through, but it's not the same for everyone. So it's a different blueprint, right, for everyone that's going through it. So it was definitely what inspired me.
I think that's good to know. When we think of, I have to ask you this because it seems to be a bit of a hot topic. We briefly touched on at the beginning of our conversation on all the change in the med spa industry. And so I'm curious for you, did you feel like, from today back 20 years ago, what are people distinguishing between med spa and spa? Because back then, if you would have asked me, I would have thought, oh, well, maybe it's just a better quality or a different version. Nowadays, the med spa has become like the only option. Like are people still going to other types of spas that aren't med spa? I don't know. I don't hear about that, but give us a breakdown for us.
Definitely, there's a lot of people that go to the traditional spas for maybe more of a relaxation, true massage. They do, some pedicures, maybe some facials, just more from a complete pampering. Some go to a weekend retreat and just go for pampering, really just for the mindset piece. But we've incorporated wellness here, so we have some of those treatments as well. So the steam room, infrared sauna, we have massage therapists here too. So we really try to encompass it all in one as needed. And that's something that it's just nice for patients to be able to incorporate into their routine as needed. If they want to do a couples massage, it's really fun. But I do see some of the traditional spas.
Traditional spa. Okay.
Just a different mentality and, different approach.
But then the med spa. So on the medical side, what is the distinction there? Is it a licensed physician in the office? Like, how does it work?
Yes, we have a medical director. So it is vastly different. And they oversee everything that we're doing. We have to have appropriate consent forms and everything's approved by the medical director. And so it's very different than a traditional spa from that regard.
So a lot more training, a lot more skill set, I would imagine, in the type of procedures that are being done.
Very much so. So we have to get certified and each practitioner has to have the appropriate license. So we have RNs that work with, the PRP that we do or IV therapy. We really need to have the highest level of technicians that are appropriately trained as well and have many years of experience working with those patients. So it's vastly different than a traditional spa would be. Very different treatments.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And so if I'm listening and wanting to find a new med spa to go to for one of these treatments, how do I vet a place? I mean, we look at reviews and all of that. I get all of that. But like, what would you, since you're so trained, look for in some of these places, Amanda?
I hope that they would find the clinic that they're looking into would offer a complimentary consultation. And I think they should definitely go in. You can ask on the phone. You'll be able to tell by the way you're asking questions, the way that they're answering. If they have a lot of knowledge and they're educating you and they're willing to explain to you the procedures and how they work and you feel very comfortable, that's a good sign. But I think it is important to go in and you could do a complimentary consultation. And I think it's so key to get educated. And just throughout that consultation, I feel like they would be able to gain knowledge of knowing I feel like this is a trustworthy med spa. I feel like they know, a majority of the things that they're talking about. They should be very well educated and willing to share all of that with the patient. And I think also not working out of greed. If they're If they're seeing
There's
something,
that. Yes.
like what are your concerns? And if they, look at the face with the patient and say, okay, this is based on your concerns, this is what I would recommend, but this is what I wouldn't recommend. And if they're not, trying to have them spend thousands and thousands of dollars on day one, that's, I think it's important to have an approach, and not everybody needs all of the same treatments. And so I think it's having a baby step approach too is good. If they're brand new to the med spa, just go slowly.
I love that. Those are good questions. What is the trending number one treatment that women are asking you for right now?
Skin tightening.
Skin tightening.
Yeah, we have some great lasers that do radio frequency. There's a lot of patients that are on semaglutide, the Ozempic. And so there's a lot of loose skin that's being left behind. And so being able to treat that it's so profound in our industry. There's a need. It's a great feeling to be able to help men and women to be able to, reverse the damage of the after effect of losing, a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Ozempic face is the trending face. Like I think you see on social media. I have one more question on this, because you're right. It's I hear my friends talk about what their treatments are, what their favorite are. What about collagen supplements? How do you feel about those? I'm curious, because you are an expert in this and you hear lots of women talk about it. Should we all be on them, Amanda, at a certain age? What do you think?
So the collagen, I found, I didn't realize when I started on too, you'll hear, oh, there's 4 types of collagen. Well, that's great, but our body only absorbs type 1 collagen. And the one that we sell is actually peptide based. So your body absorbs it even better. And it also has some connective tissue product in there for joints. And I have my son who's 21, he works really hard as an electrician and his body needs recovery. And so that's helpful for him. Someone in their 20s, it is good for everyone to incorporate, because we do lose collagen every year, 1% starting in our 20s. But it is important to make sure that you're getting the right type of collagen. There's so much marketing out there and there's so much. And, initially I thought, oh, marine collagen is great. And I have 4 different types or 2 different types of collagen. But I realized when trained in our medical field, really, truly the type 1 collagen is the only one our body will absorb appropriately. And the powder-based is what we carry. And it's through a medical grade product line, orthomolecular.
No fillers, nothing extra in there, the synthetics. It sounds like it's pretty pure.
It is. It's great. And, we have to have a medical director to be able to, get the product into our clinic. So it's not something you could just find on the internet. And I think that's important.
It is kind of filtering through, because if you look on Amazon, I mean, oh my gosh, how many brands are there? I don't know if I would trust a lot of that. Amanda, before we let you go, please share with us what your mentor moment is for our listeners today. It's going to be that one piece of advice that they're going to think about you and remember this time together.
Honestly, staying humble, to other women and men out there, success is great, but I think no matter where you are, no matter how accomplished you are, always staying humble and being true to yourself, I think is so important. And I will always be humble, in my journey, in my career. And I just think it's important to, not let your success get to your head and to establish an ego. And I think it's important to just stay true to yourself and remember, we're always here to inspire others. And I think God notices what we're doing. It's important to always do the right thing.
I absolutely agree. That's beautiful. Amanda, how can everyone find you and support you?
I have a website that you can go to find a little bit more about my journey and what I'm doing. It's meetamandalamage.com. And Instagram, you can always find me there, Lamage, and see about kind of what I'm doing day to day. And I would love to have the opportunity to do a 10-minute complimentary consultation with anyone out there that's looking for coaching to see if that's a good fit for them.
I love that. That's leading with generosity. I love it. Amanda, this has been wonderful. Thanks for your time today on being here with us at Working Women Mentor. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, wait, before you go, I have one ask. Would you please leave us a review? Tapping on those stars on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you're listening to this will really help us. It'll spread the word and your voice and your impact as well, because every episode we are giving mentor moments. And I hope you can continue this conversation with us at workingwomenmentor.com. To apply to be a guest, find show notes and episode details. And if you've ever wanted to start a podcast, we've got the perfect course for you. Follow us on Instagram at Working Women Mentor and DM us the word mentor, and I'll send you over our free guide on mentorship so you can incorporate it into your life. Thanks so much for joining us. And until then, cheers until the next episode.